Hey everybody, and welcome to another Learn to Digitize video. My name is Sue and I'm a hatch educator, and today we are talking about really cool ESA font and a specific font, and I'm going to show you how to make a very fast, beautiful embroidered design for towels. It's basically a monogram design, and it looks really complicated, but it is super simple to do. So let's get started. I have my hatch open and we're going to go to lettering. Now for this font, it's a little bit different than the other fonts. And if you were to do two capital letters, and I just typed in the letters caps, let's go to the font. It is called Adorn Duo 50 millimeters. So let's click on that and let's make it a lot bigger, not too big. But you get two pieces like that, which is fine, but we want it to look a little bit differently. So what you do is you make the first letter a lowercase letter. And look what happens. You get the two pieces. Now you can see clearly that this piece slides into this. I'm going to make the second letter a B, so it looks exactly like what I did for the blog. So you have the letters like that. That doesn't look quite right because this is cut out, but this is the lower letter and this is the uppercase letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to here and we're going to break apart. Now let's put up our Resequence tab, and you can see, and I'm going to make that a bit smaller. If I zoom in here on my mouse icon, I can just slide it back so we don't need to see the whole thing, and I want more room. So let's do it on this side too. That's just a little quick tip. Now I can see everything. So now we've broken it apart, but if you notice there's an object type, the letter A, so it's still considered an alphabet. So let's take this letter, let's slide it back in, let's find exactly where it goes. Now you can use your up and down arrow keys to precision place it, but that looks pretty good to me. And now look, you have a really nice shape and it's all together and it fits perfectly. And now the whole design is in a diamond shape. So no lower cases. If you click on this one, you can see it's a lowercase, but it comes out an uppercase, and that's fine. So I'm going to put this on a towel like I did in the blog, and if you haven't read the blog, it's step-by-step instructions. So let's select this, let's close our lettering, let's go to Edit, Objects, and let's go right down here, Create Outlines and Offsets. So I don't want to create an outline for it. I do, however, want to create an offset, and I'm going to do a couple of them because I kind of like doing that. I'm going to leave it at single run, and it really doesn't matter the color because I'm not sure what I'm putting it on yet. Make sure that common offsets are selected. So let's actually, I'm going to put this down to 2. I think it'll be good enough for that. And click OK and wait for a minute, and it's going to show up, and that looks perfect. That looks perfect. So I think I'm going to pick not the outer one, the inner one. So I'm going to delete the outer one. And these little pieces here, these are just kind of little artifacts that are left over. They are, if we can zoom in, they're just little pieces in between that were red. So all you have to do is select them, hit the delete key, select them. Now let's change this to a brighter color so we can see what we're doing. And look at how perfectly that offset it. Even all the little bumps and everything, I like that. And it's going to look great for what we're going to do. We are going to make it into a hatch smash. So let's smash it, why don't we? So select your outline. Let's go to Fill. And of course it's going to fill everything and you can't see anything. And that's fine because we really want our hatch smash to stitch out first. You can do it like that. It's going to be awful thick. But it does look great. It absolutely looks great. So hatch smash first and then our lettering. But we need to do a few things first before we can consider this a smash. Now we're going to go to stitching and we're going to remove all of the underlay because we do not need underlay on this. Let's go to our fill, and I'm going to change it. So I deselect everything. I'm going to change it to metric, and I'm going to select it again. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to put the spacing. We want it to be less dense than this. Now the numbers really depend on what you're stitching it on, how dense you want it. And that is, if you zoom right in, I did it on a really fluffy towel, and I think I had it at about 150. Anything like that. Depends on how much you want, how good you want it to look. And that's, for me, I think that's great. That's going to look good. Anywhere between, 150 and 2. So that's 1.5 and 2. Let's try it on 2. Whoops, select the right one. Let's try it on 2. I think that might be a bit much for what I was doing. But you know what? Not bad. If you don't have a really thick, fluffy towel, that will do. I think I'm going to select it again, and I'm going to go back to the 1.5 or 150, as I keep saying. And that is your hatch smash. I slid it over a little bit. There we go. Look how great that was looking. Now, if you wanted to add a little more interest to the design, this looks spectacular. And what I did is the background, which is red here, the towel I stitched it on was black. So I matched the towel color, and I did these two colors. It's kind of an OD color, so if I pick green, it looks kind of terrible on screen, but it's kind of glowing, but that's what I did. Let's do the darker one, just because it looks better to me. But I stitched the thread color I stitched was a really pretty color of OD. So if you want to add a little more interest to it, let's do another offset. So what I've done is I've selected the hatch smash, and we're going to go to create outlines and offsets. And again, I want an offset. This time though, I want it to be a satin stitch, so a satin line. And this time I do want to do 4 of them because I want to leave a space, and I'm going to do it in black. So have everything set up, have this one clicked on, now click OK, and it's going to do 4 of them. And you know what? That looks really cool too. That would give a nice effect. But for this one, let's delete that one. I think I'm going to keep the outer one. So the idea was I was kind of doing an embossing kind of frame on it. So this would be all fluffy, and this would be flattened down. The only other thing I want to do is make it a little bit wider, and I'm going to go back to US. If you do this too, don't worry, it's very annoying, but I remember the numbers a certain way just because of the way I was taught. So that's 0.8. So we could do, we don't want it too thick, so we could do a 0.10. And let's see how thick that is. See if the satin splits. We could do it thicker than that because I really want it to hold down. So let's do a 1.2. I don't think we want to go too much thicker than that. Nice thick, and I want to click on that again, and I want to go to stitching, and I'm going to put a second underlay on it, a zigzag, because I want it to really hold down the fibers of the towel. So it'll be, the fibers will be sticking up here and sticking up here. And I think it just, for a couple of clicks, I think it adds a really nice look to it. Now you can make it thicker if you want. Let's try, we don't want it too thick, but that might look better, just because I know I'm doing it on a fluffy towel. So you can play around with that. You could also do a motif as well, and go through, and I would pick a satin one, because if you're doing something like this on a towel, it really isn't going to show up very well because all those fibers are going to show through. So we could pick even this one would be nice. Personally, I preferred just the plain, but you can play around with it depending on what you like. And all my settings changed again. So what did we have that 0.12 or 1.4? I can't remember. 1.4 is fine. And we put the double underlay on. So really that took 10 minutes to explain to you. It would take, 10 minutes to do. Print out your template, put it on the towel, line everything up, and stitch it. And the small size that I did was a 20-minute stitch, and the bigger size for the bigger bath towel was only 38-minute stitch. So whenever, if you're ever in a hurry and want a beautiful personalized gift, you can do that with ESA fonts, and it's stitched out and it looks great. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.